G'day guys, we are back in the studio with top 100 instructor Joey Wuertemberger, and we are going step by step on how to hit draws and fades. Now, this is not just for advanced players. If you can create curve, you can fix curve. So we're not just adding shots, we're adding ways to fix problems too. Ultimately, every shot comes down to being able to control path and face, and Joey and I have seen massive benefits from teaching our students how to hit curveballs. So make sure you watch all the way to the end because we have absolutely laid out the goods. Let's dive in. The utility of curveballs is, one, there's going to be situations on the golf course where we need to hit some curve, right? We're going to curve it around some trees. We can talk about that more in the strategy standpoint later.
Love it.
But also, like, if you can create curve, really it's about kind of controlling sort of, base and path, right? So if you can control that in a way that creates curve, you can also control it in a way that fixes curve when you don't want it.
Yeah, when you don't want it. Yeah, if you wake up one morning and it's kind of like, for me, like you said, I'm hitting draws in the first few swings of the day.
Yeah.
Our fades, I've got to kind of, okay, hey, woke up this morning and my path's a little bit too neutral, right? And then first couple holes of a tournament, if I've got left to right wind, I might be a little bit in trouble. So, I think players got to kind of understand that, when they're warming up. And that could be another discussion we talk about later of, like, what do you need to do in your warm-ups? What are we looking at?
Oh, yeah.
Where are you? I tell my players, like, where am I pinned? Am I pinned on being a little bit on the shallow side? Like, I can draw it pretty easy? Or am I a little more on the fade side? Where's my barometer, right? And then which way do I need to kind of move that? So for me, this is cool because I was pinned on probably a little bit too straight. The first couple balls were almost bleeding a little bit right. And now here we're going to try to make me curve it the other way. So I better make sure I do it correctly.
Also, for those that are watching, like, Joey works with a lot of elite players, and even going back in the day, back in, 2008, like, you were working with some of the top juniors, like guys like Brad Dolke when he was like 8 years old. Like, he was one of the first lessons that I watched here in the United States.
Yeah.
And so you've always worked with a lot of elite players. Even with the elite players, tell me your thoughts on this. We have like the 9-ball window, right? Like, for those watching, high draw, medium draw, low draw, high straight, medium straight, low straight, high fade, medium fade, low fade. Like, it's kind of unusual to be able to hit all of them equally the same.
Yeah,
right? Like,
exactly.
A good player may be able to, like, figure out, but they might have to work harder to hit.
Yeah, exactly.
One side than the other.
For sure. Yeah, like, obviously the best players in the world can kind of do it, but I think, Rory hits a draw.
Yeah.
Right. And then it's kind of one of those things of, like, what is their stock shot going to be? And they're going to probably play that as much as they can. Right. Yeah. And then when the pin gets moved to a back right pin or a back left pin and their stock shot is a certain way, and then now they have to kind of maybe curve it the other way. I don't necessarily think they're maybe curving it as much. They might just kind of a holder. Right. So, like, when I used to play, I'm hitting a draw, then a pin's back right. I'm not going to aim the ball right and hope it draws.
Or maybe not even necessarily like try and cut it into the pin.
I'm just going to kind of go middle of the green and adjust my setup a little bit, aim the face kind of middle, and then just kind of hold it, right? And that's probably if I'm more on the draw bias side and I kind of just adjust my setup and things, it might neutralize my path to pretty much zero. Then I can kind of hit it straight and go back right pin. At least I kind of know, hey, that's not a pin where I need to attack anyways.
For sure. And I think that's like a little disclaimer for everybody, a little asterisk, disclaimer, whatever else that we need to say in terms of, we'll teach you and show you how to create the different curves. But, if you're standing on like the first hole and the pin's cut left, you're not necessarily, like, if you're a fader, you're not trying to draw one into the pin and then, like, if the hole number 2 is a par 3 and the pin's right, you're not trying to cut one in there.
No. I mean, you got to kind of understand there's 18 holes out there, right? So, I talked to the USGA official a few years ago, and they said they would try to, in their best ability, make 6 pins, that are difficult pins.
Right.
6 pins that might be a little bit more on the easier side, and then 6 pins maybe a little bit more on the kind of the medium side. So for you guys at home that are kind of watching this, the biggest thing is really understand, hey, there's 18 holes out here. Every pin isn't going to be, front left or back right.
Yeah.
Now, the pin that you have right now, that it doesn't really match your shot, you don't have to necessarily go at that. Just take it to the middle of the green or, try to hit your best shot, work with your pattern, and then just try to, 2-putt and get out of there.
For sure. Let's fire a couple down, Joey. Let's hit some big hooks for them.
All right, big hooks.
Big hook.
So a couple of things I'm going to probably try to do is probably keep the ball a little bit back. You'll see kind of on this video, I'm going to, drop the foot, and I'm going to really try to get that swing direction inside out. Uh-oh, that might be too straight.
Okay, let's see.
Oh, well, the same thing.
Okay, so if we look at the numbers here, we had a club path of 1.4 degrees from the inside. So that's a slight draw path. I mean, really, just for a nice draw, these numbers would be pretty good.
Yeah, we'd take that all day. I got to move that swing direction a little bit more. So it's too close to 0, so I'm going to kind of do the same thing. I'm going to aim a little bit more right and get the face a little bit more shut.
Okay, for those watching at home, important takeaway, right?
Uh-oh, I healed that ball.
Little healy, I'm going to pull up the impact.
Oh, I didn't get it. I got lucky.
I pulled up the impact screen, though, the contact, and those at home can see the contact.
Yeah, don't give me that one. Don't give me that one.
That actually, Joey, we'll come back and talk about the contact in a second.
There we go. So there we go.
We see the ball. What's interesting here is obviously this shot for Joey here versus the other one. I'm going to actually pull it up on the main screen and do a compare for us. So let's hold tight for 1 second. And let me do this. Because the swing you just did, and let me get out of that one more time. The swing you just did and the one 2 swings ago, not even worried about the video here, guys. I'm just looking at the club path. The club path was almost identical. It was 1.4 degrees. And this ball was the one that was like the nice little baby draw. And this one had obviously way more curve.
Sure.
Because the difference here, that the face was really different.
Absolutely.
Okay, so if I click on these 2 shots one at a time here, this is the shot that he just hit. The path was 1.4 degrees from the inside. The face angle was 7.7 degrees closed. That's relative to the target line.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got face to path all the way over on the right-hand side here, Joey. So his face relative to his path was 9 degrees closed.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to throw over to this camera over here real quick. So the more open or closed, when there's a difference between face to path, that's when we're going to get curve.
Yeah, correct.
Right? So that's the reason why this ball had so much curve to it.
And then the problem there for me is angle of attack's bad. So next ball I'm going to hit, I'm going to have to make sure that angle of attack has quite a bit more downward hit. I know my face is perfect, and you can kind of see at home, like that's a great picture to kind of see. The face gets that ball kind of curving over to the left. I've just got to probably get the path maybe a little bit more to the right.
Yeah.
And that's going to probably get that ball started a little bit more right to curve it more to the left.
Yeah, if we kind of forgot that there was a target line here and we looked at the curve, it was the curve, like it was the whole curve that I asked for, right?
You asked for it. I got it.
Ideally, we would take all of this and move it more.
Yeah, I got to move it a little bit more to the right.
And you mentioned changing the attack angle, catching it earlier in the swing. Yep. It's going to shift the path and the face, and you're going to be able to send the ball
more to the right. Because if that pin's on the left side of the green, then the last thing we want to do is miss that ball, kind of too far left.
Is there anything that you're going to do on this next one to
keep that angle of attack?
Yeah,
absolutely. Kind of what we were talking about a little bit earlier. I've got to make sure on this type of shot that my body doesn't get too far back again, right? So I probably got good path, but my body's just a little bit back. Or like, where's my sternum, right? My sternum, which is almost my low point, right? I'm probably just a little too far back. Sternum gets kind of back, probably too close to 0, if you will, where the ball's at. I'm going to have to really make sure on these next couple that I'm driving myself much more forward with some rotation, because now my sternum gets more forward, I'll get a better angle of attack.
Let's turn around to that camera there for a second. And actually, Joe, if you want to go up to the top and stop.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So kind of what Joey was saying right there, like if I was standing here right now, like he would almost try and
view, right? I'm going to try to kind of have a lot of that. Scotty Scheffler does so great at this of like really how much he's driving more forward.
Right.
So there's like a big wall there for you guys readers, or like for Mike. I'm still going to load well to my trail side, but I'm really going to have to really move more left, get my left shoulder more forward, because that's going to put my sternum more over the ball to kind of have more downward hit into the shot.
And some of this is like it's feel versus real, right? Like that would be the feel to, do that again for me.
Yeah.
So take your setup, go up to the top.
Yeah, so I'm really going to feel there.
If we were exaggerating the move that Joey said, like he didn't want to do, it would be like kind of like, let's just say falling back this way. Okay.
Exactly.
So, if I'm standing here, like Joey's not bumping into me at all.
Yeah.
And so he's saying, feeling like he's going to bump me over.
Yeah, move you that way quite a bit.
And in reality, you're going to be just kind of a little more,
sort of, be able to water down a little bit. Yes,
Sure.
absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
All right, let's see it, buddy.
All right, here we go. Try this again.
Yes, sir.
So move the ball probably a little bit. I'm going to make sure that face, probably stays a little bit shut. Keep angle of attack more down. I think I got a good one there, Mike.
Hey, buddy. The one thing that we could do, like you guys will notice a few swings ago, Joey talked about aiming his body more to the right. And so like if there was a big tree and we're like, okay, we have to guarantee that this ball starts right of the tree because hitting the tree is going to be all bad.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
Then job number one of like shifting the path would be shifting.
Yeah, that's one cheat code. Absolutely. Yeah. Exactly.
So if there was like, okay, there's a big old tree there, but I still want to hook it around the tree and get it down there, it'd be like, okay, I'm gonna shift my body a little bit.
Exactly. It's like TrackMan's so cool because it's only measuring it down the target line.
Right.
Right. So those numbers are all going to be relative to where the tree's at or where our line is. So there's, like you said, that tree's right in front of me.
Yeah.
Right down my target line, and I've got to really curve it. What's the easiest thing to do?
Yeah.
Get your body more right.
For sure.
Right? Keep the ball a little bit back. Now, then from there, depending on if a player struggles with maybe the face being too open or closed, then they can kind of maybe start to maybe cheat a little bit more of the face to really kind of make it curve a little bit, right?
So if we're starting to build a list here, guys, let's maybe say, again, if you've got that big tree in front of you, maybe jump number one for you guys at home would be change the aim of the body to shift the path, right?
Yeah, that's 100%.
Maybe number two, like depending, unless you have to hit it high, would you say maybe stick it back a little bit?
Yeah, because I think that's going to get your low point better. For me, just critiquing myself, my low point's not great here this afternoon because I'm a little bit back. So yeah, correct. Low point further back, or ball position back to create low point. Get yourself aiming it quite a bit more right. I would say players in general aren't going to even exaggerate enough.
No.
We've done a million playing lessons. You and I have done a lot, and you guys at home kind of watching this. You're going to, coach or Joey and I or Mike and I are going to tell you, oh, get an aim a little bit right. And you're kind of like, oh, aim a little right. No, you're not aiming enough right. And then, but what did I do? Right. And I'm really getting myself, I'm getting myself really this way, to kind of really make sure I can cheat that enough. Because the last thing you want to do is, not let it do what you want the ball to do.
Yeah. And one of the things Joey was hitting on there too, with like moving the ball back, it helps us. There's only one area where it hurts us on a little bit, and we'll talk about that. You know where I'm going already.
Sure.
But it helps us from getting a little more from the inside.
Yeah.
It helps with the low point, just so we get quality of strike, ball first. Like if we do everything great, but we chunk it, it's not going to work out.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
The only thing, obviously, moving it a little earlier in the swing is that the face may be a little bit more open. So if we were to build this list, like you were saying, presetting it for this hook shot, a little closed at address.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like that's a great point, right? Is you guys, everybody at home watching this, you get myself a little bit right, and the face just keeps kind of going more right. It's, I'm going to just hit that ball right of right. So I can't really afford to do that.
No.
We're trying to really get that ball curving the other way. So that is a great point of, aiming yourself right, ball position a little bit back, which is, of course, if we're kind of flighting, it's going to help our low point. And then, like I said, you can kind of cheat a little bit of the face. Face can get a little bit more shut because that's going to probably get the face to path, crazy different, right? Because that's what's going to make that ball curve so much. And tour players, they struggle sometimes curving it because they've got that face to path so zeroed out. Then when they have to curve it, it's kind of tough for them to do.
Yeah, for sure. And I would say that that's another one, like you were just saying, alignment, most people tend to not push it far enough.
Yeah.
Quite often, people don't close that face in enough at address.
Yeah.
Right? And so they're like, okay, I'm taking care of the aim. The aim is good. The path is good, but the ball still went way out there, and I'm trying to hook it over there.
Sure.
Because at impact, you didn't get the face closed enough, and we probably didn't do enough things to help us get there to begin with.
Yeah,
like
correct.
closing it in enough.
Correct.
It looks like, let's go ahead and do one here.
Yeah.
So if you aim kind of out to the right,
Yeah, I'm
close that
pretty
face,
right. And I'm like, for you guys at home, I'm trying to get this thing probably over here at that 213, that total number.
Yep.
So I'm going to get my feet aimed to the right. Ball position's going to be a little bit back. So from there, that's where I feel like my body's going to be to kind of get it to Mike.
Yep.
And then I'm going to probably cheat a little bit because I haven't really been so successful curving it a lot. I'm going to probably even make sure that that face is more pretty much kind of down my target line. But then I'm going to know with the face kind of being shut and my body being closed, but then I probably am going to have enough curve to the ball to hit it. And I hit a
you gotta go.
give me another one. Give me
Go with the
another
other
one.
ones. Yeah, we'll go again.
Golly. How are we doing there?
That's all right.
There we go.
Very cool.
There we go.
Nice job, Joe. All right, so we see that that path moved 5.8 degrees.
There we go.
To the right. Yeah, good, good. Excellent. One thing I wanted to talk to the guys at home about, Joey, was you'll notice that when we hit draws, because we've kind of like moved our alignment this way, you know, we're kind of like now relative to the target line, the club is not spending a lot of time on the target line. We're kind of like, let me grab an alignment stick here real quick, where maybe relative to say like kind of more of your normal swing, what camera have I got? I'll go over here. The club is kind of now swinging in and then out, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, let me just flick to the down the line camera.
Sure.
It'll make more sense for us. Okay. So what happens is, you know, let's say our normal swing is approaching the target line. We spend a little bit of time tracking down the target line, and at some point it's going to curve away. And now that we've shifted our aim, we're spending less time on the target line.
Absolutely.
Which can move the contact a little bit more towards the heel.
Sure, exactly. That's kind of what got me on that. Made sure I had enough path from the inside, and here comes the club probably coming that way. And
it's going that way. Yeah. So, you know, without kind of like going, you know, down a rabbit hole here, if we strike a little more on the heel, that can produce like a, let's say more fade, right? We'll skip over kind of gear effect. And if we hit on the toe, that could produce a little more draw. Or at the very least, like if we're setting up to hit this draw and, you know, we do all of the right things and we hit it in the heel, that may nullify some of the right to left, right?
Absolutely.
So one little kind of like bonus tip is it can be a good idea when you're hitting the draws to set up a little bit on the toe.
Yeah, I love that.
And so worst case scenario, you come back, you hit it on the toe and it helps you hit the curve even a little easier, right? Or, you know, the club does happen to move out a little bit and you strike it like a little face and it's happy days.
Yeah, exactly. We love that.
And the opposite could be true for a fade. You might start a little bit in the heel, and if you hit it a little bit in the heel, not obviously in the hosel, but a little bit in the heel, it'll help you hit the fade. Yeah. And if you happen to hit the middle of the face, happy days.
Yeah, we're good.
Worst thing would be, you know, where from the inside we heel it and it nullifies, right? And vice versa. We hit it on the toe and it just ends up being a straight ball to the left. So, okay, nice job. Should we hit some fades?
Yeah, let's hit the fader.
All right, so you're going to set, if we're going through our kind of checklist again, the body first.
Yeah, exactly. So body's going to go obviously quite a bit more left. Ball position's going to get forward, right? So of course, ball back's going to get my path more right. Ball more forward's going to kind of get the swing direction probably a little bit more to the left. Kind of the same thing at home, right? Is what's the face going to do, right? I have no problem squaring the face kind of for the fader. So for me, making sure the face probably stays a little bit more on the open side is kind of where I want that.
Yeah.
And then kind of when I hit this guy, kind of the open face, then swing a little left. That's going to start enough left. Is it curve enough?
Oh, beautiful, man.
Oh, we got it right there. Look at that.
There we
I
go.
did it.
Happy days. Let me pull up the numbers for you guys at home so you can see. Excellent, mate.
And a kind of a cool one to look at because for me, if you see that angle of attack, here's that 6 down.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I got the swing direction. Look how crazy left that is.
That's awesome. Mate, let me pull this will be interesting here. So let me pull up.
So I'll commend myself on the fader versus the draw. The draw was no bueno.
Well, and part of that from a strategy standpoint, Joey, like knowing, okay, which one am I doing like well or which is easier right now? And so when we do some course management stuff,
Yeah.
if you get in a situation where it's like, okay, I'm fading it really easy, and there's the option here of either, I can fade it around the trees, or I just play back to the fairway. Maybe in that situation, like, I'm feeling it. Like
and this is good for me because early on we were talking about how it's easier for me to draw it. Here, I struggled a little bit more to draw it, but the cut first ball was great. So it was kind of easier for me. So like you said, okay, if I have a tournament we're going to go play, is it going to be easier for me to hit that punch draw? Maybe not, right? So I might just kind of take my medicine, get that back in play and try to wedge it on. Or if I had that fader, I could probably challenge that one and have a little more confidence that I could hit that.
And you could take that in so many directions, right? It's like, okay, let's say, you're normally a draw player, and you turn up, on the range of the course today, and you're like, I'm hitting this little beautiful, perfect itty bitty fade, right? And you're like, well, I normally hit a draw. You're not going to stand on the driving range and like try and get your draw back.
No, exactly. I'm going to kind of make sure, hey, the fade's going to be what I'm going to play. I'm going to probably start to understand, okay, my lines might change a little bit more today. I'm definitely, to your point, not going to beat my head against the wall and try, hit, draw, hit, draw, hit, draw. It's just really not there, right? I mean, it's going to probably have to be a little bit of a bleeder.
Yeah, for sure. And then if there's something to fix on the golf course, like that round is not,
that's not the time.
Like fix it later.
Exactly.
Right? Just get the job done.
Yeah, get the job done. I tell my players all the time, get the job done, go to a shot that you can hit, repeatable, make a bunch of pars, and then, call your coach afterwards, or, go through your progression of some of the things you've done with your coach and get back to some of those fundamentals that you're clearly missing that you can't hit the shots you want.
Yeah, and I'll pull up the screen, the TrackMan screen for you guys in a second so you can see it a little more clearly. But while I'm here, there was over 20 degrees of difference in path between these two shots. It was 5.8 degrees positive, so a draw path of, let's say, 6 degrees on the right-hand side. And the fade swing over here was, 17 degrees to the left.
Exactly.
And really the big thing here is that the alignment of your body is what %.
And that's where, like we were saying, you guys at home, make sure your body's, if you're going to cut it and I'm going to make sure it's cutting, you got to make sure you're open enough. And if it's drawing, you got to make sure your foot's back for your right-handed golfer to make sure you're helping yourself, because you're building just good insurance in, if you will, really kick the path the correct way.
Yeah. And if we were to think about this, I think that this could be important for those at home. Like, you're not necessarily intentionally with, like, let's say for the draw, for example, it's not like you're trying to, relative to your normal swing, forget there's a target line, right? You're not trying to do some big crazy maneuver here because your low point would suffer, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You're shifting your body to do the work for you, and then you're kind of like making a normal swing.
Correct.
Some face adjustments.
Yeah, exactly. Then the face adjustments to there for sure.
Same with the fade. It's not like you were like hacking over the top on this thing like you were chopping wood.
Exactly.
You did all the work by shifting the body.
Yep.
And then, face adjustments. But
Exactly.
So I'll pull up the screen so you guys can see it at home real quick.
And relative to that target line, which, like you said, isn't going to move, how much different the face would look off the takeaway, or I'm sorry, the inside takeaway on that right picture, and how much different, the takeaway will look with, the left picture with the fade. Because clearly that club's going to go more out. That was the one that we kind of said earlier, like, we'd love to see that takeaway even for my stock. But
well, and that's also, mate, one of like the benefits of working on these curveballs. You can fix issues in your swing by working on some of these curveballs, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
But if we had, the camera position here is fixed for those two shots, right?
Exactly.
If we were to bring the camera around, let's say for the fade shot right there, make sure I'm on, So if we brought it around, your swing wouldn't look as different as it looks from just this fixed down the line camera, right?
Correct.
We obviously see, like, relative to the target line, the one on the left, the club is way out. The one on the right, it's in.
Sure.
But that's just an angle thing. If we came around on the line of your body, wouldn't look insanely different.
Exactly. I think the only thing that you would see different from the face-on view, when you do get more open, ball position's going to be moved, and then my head's probably going to be moved a little bit back.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kind of like what we just said right there.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
You're going to see a lot different ball position,
mm-hmm.
and then kind of ball position's just going to be moved up. It's going to look moved up just because of where I'm at on the arc.
Bingo, 100%. So I'll draw exactly what Joey was talking about here. Like if we were to look at the target line, so if this went all the way through to the flagstick,
Yeah.
right? Let me just switch cameras here. Okay, so down, 90 degrees to that, it looks like it's a million miles forwards, right?
Exactly.
If we went with parallel to where sort of Joey's aiming this way, like we're doing this on a 2D screen right now, but this will kind of make sense in terms of it's nowhere near as far forwards as it looks.
Yeah.
From versus the camera's perspective from
Exactly.
90 degrees.
Exactly.
Okay, that's a really important one for those at home to remember.
Sure.
If we could move that camera around,
there you go.
It was really still, yeah, it's a beautiful shot. It was really still middle of your body, but just everything. You came around on the arc.
Yeah, exactly.
From that, this kind of made it look.
Yeah, exactly. I always kind of like imagine like a small bottom of an O or like a hula hoop, right? I just came back around, got to the right of the hula hoop, right? Got the ball position moved forward. My feet kind of got more open. And then clearly, like you were kind of mentioning earlier, it's not like I'm trying to make this huge move over the top.
Right.
I'm just kind of set up where I'm more open with the ball position. Then I kind of just almost make the same swing, if you will. Then I just manage what the face is doing, relative to my new adjusted lines.
Yeah. Now you're, obviously being you're a very good player. And so you're able to, we said earlier, like the 9 balls, a good player can hit all of them. They got to work a little bit harder for one or the other. So if we're going through our list again, we had shift the body to shift the path, maybe preset the face, either a little closed for the draw relative to the alignment of your body, or a little open with your, for your fade.
Yeah, correct.
If you're someone that still struggles with one of those, are there any other things that you would layer on top of that, let's say draw-wise, if they need extra help to close the face?
This extra fellows. I mean, then you would probably start to look at the low-hanging fruit stuff. Is their grip good?
Yeah.
If they got a weak grip, maybe their left hand's a little weak where you might have like a 1-knuckle grip, or their right hand gets kind of more.
Will you show those guys at home that one?
Yeah. So like a neutral grip, like going back to just a neutral grip or maybe slightly stronger. I always like to kind of get it over here on my fingers, on the side, because that's kind of how my arm hangs down. And then I'm going to get it in my fingers, right? And then when my hand kind of comes up on top, you'll see that I see a little bit more on my glove. I see at least 2 knuckles, maybe even a little bit of the 3rd knuckle. So that would be kind of a stronger grip. So for you guys at home that can't really hit maybe that draw as much, you might be maybe a little bit too weak of a grip, or you might be having it too much in the palm of your hand, and then you can't see any of that Titleist of my glove or very little like that. Then you're probably in a position where there's no way you're going to have enough rotation in your forearms to really get that face back around. Or it could be kind of more of your right hand, where your right hand is in that weaker position and that V between your index finger and your thumb is too weak. So for me being a righty, I'm going to try to make sure that both of my hands maybe a little bit stronger in my left. It's going to be a little bit more in my fingers. I have an interlock grip, but then again, you're going to kind of see that both of these V's, if you will, are going to point more to my right eye. And if I really need to make sure I need to hook it a little bit more, I might even strengthen it more with my left hand, get it even further cranked over, because that's, and my right hand for that matter too, because that's going to get the face more shut as well.
Let's do a little demonstration here, because this is some great stuff. I would say, again, I'm just kind of repeating and reinforcing some of this stuff to you guys. Like, again, if we're going through these curveballs, 1, we shift the body to shift the path. 2, let's play the ball like the draw, let's say back in the stance a little bit. Maybe for the fade, it feels like it's more forward, but maybe it's not actually more forward.
Sure.
And then preset the face at address, draw, more closed, fade, more open.
Correct.
And then these are like extra helpers if you need extra help.
You can't do it, right? If you're still struggling home of like, man, hey, I can't really draw it enough, or I can't fade it enough.
Yeah.
Maybe some kind of go-to things that you've got to do.
So these extra helpers, like Joey, if you'll take just your normal grip on me, like square face.
Yeah.
And if we kind of hold this up, like this right now, if we were to lift the club up, we'd consider this to be like square.
Sure.
Right.
Correct.
Okay. So if we said the number 1 was like, we're going to preset the face. So Joey's going to just loosen his grip for a second, and I'll exaggerate it for you guys here.
Exactly.
Right. So this would be, obviously, if we took this down to the ground and hit the ball like this, the face is closed.
Exactly. And I'm going to interrupt you one second.
Yeah, please.
The big things that kind of happen sometimes with players is what Mike just did there. He closed the club, and then I put my grip on. Do not try to do this where you just move the club and don't change your grip, because you're just going to go back to your normal setting and it's going to go back to being square open.
Yeah, exactly.
How many times have we seen that in bunkers where you get a player, you want to try to get a bunker shot, you want to hit a high shot, and then, they have a grip and then they just do this where they twist their hand. So like what Mike just said, move the club enough and then kind of grip it, because then that'll kind of help you get your hands in a position to probably curve the ball enough either way.
And to be honest, like this is just happening like through happenstance. Like normally we would just do this on the ground. We're holding it up just for like visual demonstration.
Sure.
This is honestly not bad. Like this is good for people to do at home.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah. How do your hands feel on the club?
Because you can see the face super obvious, super obvious,
super close right there. And it feels obviously, not so hot right there, but I guarantee that face is going to be enough shut.
Yeah.
Or if I go the other way and I weaken it, right, it's going to be quite a bit open. So that's a great way for you at home to kind of nail that down.
Yeah. And if we kind of go back now a couple of steps. So, okay, Joey's got his normal grip, right? And loosens it and we close it a little bit, right? This is a huge E, like Joey was saying. And now if Joey does this and he finds, okay, I'm still not closing it enough, then Joey was saying, like, if he turns his hand away from the target and strengthens
go a little bit more stronger in my left, right hand will come a little bit more under.
Now, when Joey does like his normal thing and comes back into impact, like it's even more.
It's got to be more shot. Absolutely. That's a great point. I love that.
Okay. And so that would be like an extra helper. And you could do the opposite if you needed help keeping the face open.
Keep it open the other way. The club's going to kind of go more this direction where the face, if you will, looks kind of to the sky. And then, if you have too strong of a grip, you're going the other way. You're going to weaken it, which might not feel that great because it's going to kind of go in more the palm of your hand. You won't see any of the Titleist there. You won't see really any knuckles, right? So it's going to kind of go like that. And then kind of your right hand, might even kind of go up on top. But I always look at both of those creases of your hand, right? Neutral would be kind of more, in my opinion, probably like right eye. But like I said, if we're going the other way, where we're going to get it weak, it's going to probably start to go more to your left eye and face is going to get wide open.
Yeah. Got it. Perfect. Okay. So that would be like one way of doing like the extra helper move.
Yeah.
Do you ever do this? Like I'll also throw out an option for an extra helper, like an option being if you're trying to close it, doing kind of like feeling like a bit of a topspin.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, maybe somebody kind of has a little bit too much, to your point, like a chicken wing or something there with their arm. So clearly, if it's still not curving enough, you better get that player strong grip. Like you said, what's another option? Much more forearm rotation kind of in the swing where you're taking like the glove of your left hand or your lead hand and you're really almost pulling that more down to the ground. That's called flexion, right? So you're going to kind of bow it and turn it knuckles down a lot this direction. Your right hand is going to probably really get on top of the club so the face kind of gets more shut. But to your point, there's going to be a lot of manipulation, forearm rotation, strong grip to kind of get that face kind of working that way for sure.
Yeah, because ultimately, like if you have decided, like you've committed and you're like, okay,
I'm going to hit that shot, right?
There's a tree here, but there's like water right.
Yeah, it can't go there. This is my last golf ball.
This is it. And we've made the decision. We're committed to the shot.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I say is like, you have to believe 100% that you are right until proven otherwise.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Otherwise, you won't execute. But
exactly.
However you get the job done, right? If it's a lot of topspin forehand, if it's changing grip, those are just options.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got to kind of, like I said, as a player, you got to almost have that sixth sense of like, okay, can I pull this shot off? Or, how hard is it for me to pull this shot off? I haven't hit this shot in a long time. Well, water right, to your point, and this is my last ball and I really got to get that thing curving. How many of these positions or checkpoints do you really have to go to? Is it body? Is it ball position? Is it face? Is it strong grip? Is it forearm rotation? You got to kind of go through that list in your head and really exaggerate those things. Maybe we didn't even talk about it, but like practice swing wise.
Yeah.
Right? Really exaggerating everything in your practice swing to make sure you're kind of doing it enough. Because you've taught, a lot of players, you think they're kind of doing it enough and and that ball's getting ready to go dead straight and it's going to go into the water. So you better really be exaggerating that enough, to that player. So I would say what feel and real are typically way different, as you know. And then secondly, what the face is doing, you think you're doing it enough. You're Probably not. So continue to do everything in your power to rehearse that and understand how many of those checkpoints you need to go down the list to, get that.
Yeah, for sure. And maybe the final thought on it, and then we can kind of then we can maybe do some on the course and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Is that ultimately, if you don't practice this, you're really not going to know which one you have to hit a little bit harder.
Yeah, correct.
Right. And not harder, in the club speed, but which one you have to emphasize more.
Yeah. So maybe carve out some time in your practice sessions. If you're hitting a couple hours a week in your ball striking session, you got an hour before work or after work to kind of hit some shots. Maybe the last 10 to 15 minutes of your session, do some of those things that you might, incur on the golf course. Or maybe the first 10 to 15 minutes of your session, like I was kind of saying earlier, are you a little bit steep? Are you a little bit shallow? Is the face a little too shut or is it a little bit too open? And maybe some of those checkpoints will kind of help you leading into your sessions as well.
Absolutely. If you've been struggling to get your path from the inside, Joey and I actually filmed another video on that, and the fix might not be what you think. You can watch that video right here.